One film that comes out, tomorrow? Is it not tomorrow? Rebel Moon, I think is coming on the 21st now, right?
Yep.
Tomorrow,
At
Rebel
7
Moon
p.m.
drops. And I'm excited to see it. The critic reviews have not been great. And before any whiners want to go, because the critics have a thing against Zack Snyder, go look at his last movie. They gave positive reviews to his last movie. They gave positive reviews to his last two movies. Army of the Dead got very respectable reviews, whatever, but they're not. And maybe now we know why. Because according to reports coming out, Zack Snyder's basically saying, oh yeah, the Rebel Moon you're about to watch, not even really the movie. It's not it. I'm going to do a director's cut, and it's a totally different movie. Which has some people like me going, then why are we getting the one that we're getting tomorrow? And a place like Forbes, I think, is very accurately calling them out when they put up a headline like this. Forbes is asking, Rebel Moon will suffer because of Netflix's obvious Snyder Cut stunt. And like, what do you mean? And this is putting the blame not on Zack Snyder, but on Netflix. What do they mean by this stunt? Well, first of all, let's go over and take a look to see what it was Zack Snyder was saying. Snyder said this. In this case, I almost think the director's cut of Rebel Moon is an alternative reality version, Snyder says. It's not an extended cut of this movie. It's almost like a different movie. The reason for that is that it's such a philosophical thing to shoot a director's cut of a movie before you finish the main version. He goes on to say, we knew it would be PG-13 movie, but in my heart of hearts, I always wanted it to be rated R. But you realize it's not 100% responsible to have that in the demand. It was Netflix's idea, who said, why don't you do whatever you want over here? Here's the PG version, then go nuts. We don't care. That's really the thing that I've never experienced before. It's so bizarre. All right. I think now, I highly encourage you to go and find the Forbes article, read it for yourself, because what I think this article really accurately does is they call out Netflix for this, for what it clearly is. This is clearly a gimmick stunt. It's clearly a gimmick stunt. Because as the writer of the article pointed out, this isn't like a theatrical release.
Right.
You don't have to worry about it being rated R. What, did Netflix tell Martin Scorsese? Give us a PG version of The Irishman first. And then we'll give us a 95-minute PG version of The Irishman. And then later we'll put out the Scorsese cut that's 4 hours long and hard R. No, they never did that. This is on a streaming service. It doesn't matter if it's PG-13. It doesn't matter if it's rated R. It doesn't matter at all. What this is a blatant stunt to try to artificially recreate the Snyder Cut buzz. That's all this is. And again, I don't blame Zack Snyder for this. This is clearly Netflix. And as the article goes on and points out, now this is going to be Netflix being able to potentially quadruple dip. It's like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got Rebel Moon, but then we've got the Rebel Moon Rebel Cut. And then we've got Rebel Moon 2.
The Moon Cut.
And then we got Rebel Moon 2 Director's Cut.
Yeah,
the
D cut.
The D cut. It's like a circumcision for your soul, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
The D cut.
Snyder-cision.
You gotta get
that D cut, baby.
Snyder-cision.
Wow. Oh boy.
What, man? I'm just
Snyder-cision. So
Circum-Snyder.
and I think that, so what? And then Forbes.
Snyder. I've been circumsnidered.
Snyder side.
All right, off the rails. Let's go.
So the deep cut. So and so what Forbes also goes on to properly point out is says they have intentionally handicapped what is supposed to be the regular movie. So the regular movie is like a totally different movie than the extent. Well, so what's the point? What is it you're making? And I agree with Forbes here. I think this is a terrible stunt, and maybe this has something to do with why the critics who watched the regular cut that's coming out tomorrow looked at it and said, this isn't good. Well, maybe if they just let Snyder make one good movie and not worry about trying to artificially create this gimmick of Snyder Cut for Rebel Moon, maybe this movie would have been better. Now, again, I'm saying this as somebody who hasn't seen Rebel Moon yet. Maybe I'll watch it and I'll love it. It wouldn't be the first time I've loved a movie that a lot of other people didn't like. But Again, I agree with Forbes on this. This is a cheap, stupid gimmick stunt. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Rocket Money. Do you struggle to save money every month? With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify all those sneaky subscriptions that keep charging you month after month and cancel any you no longer use. For example, did you know that over 80% of people have subscriptions that they've completely forgotten about? It's too easy to subscribe to a free trial of something and then completely forget about it once you stop using it. That's why I'm such a big fan of Rocket Money. I've told you guys before that when I started using Rocket Money, I realized that I was still subscribed to a gym in another city I had moved away from 2 years ago. Also, my music service? Yeah, I found out I was still subscribed to 2 others. How much do you think you're paying a month on subscriptions? Most people think they're paying $80 a month, but they're actually paying closer to $200. That's why I use Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel the ones you don't want with just the press of a button. With over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped save its customers on an average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Campea. That's rocketmoney.com/Campea. rocketmoney.com/Campea. How about you make one movie and put all of your energy and effort into making this one movie the best movie it can be? How about you do that? Let him do that. How about, isn't that crazy? And you're a fucking streaming service. It doesn't matter if it's rated R. Doesn't matter if it's 17 hours. Oh, and by the way, why does it have to be a shorter version? You're doing 2 of them. It's not like you have to cut back. Anyway, Rob, you heard about all this. What are you thinking?
I think it's odd. I'm reading Zack Snyder's comments going, that's like a totally different movie. I'm like, I understand why there's 3 versions of Watchmen. The third version has everything in it, including the animated Tales of the Black Freighter. I get it. I understand. And there's different versions of Sucker Punch and I think a different version of 300. But this movie, when you're coming out of the gate saying that, yes, it's this big Netflix franchise property, it's not even theatrical, so the rating doesn't really matter. I don't understand. I'm like, what am I supposed to get excited for here? My inclination is, well, I'd like to see the movie that was your original R-rated vision. Why do I have to watch circumsnidered version first?
Circumsnidered.
I want to see the full uncut version of his movie. Doesn't work.
You want
The uncircumsnidered cut.
Yes.
The
It's
uncircumcised
not
right.
in
cut.
theaters. You don't have to worry about the runtime or worry about the rating. It's going to be on your streaming platform. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't make any sense to me because I'll tell you something, John. I'm going to watch Rebel Moon because I have to do a Designing Hollywood about it, on Friday. I'll watch Rebel Moon tomorrow night, but I won't enjoy it as much knowing that there's a version that, I'd much rather see the R-rated.
Isn't the real version.
Yeah,
I'm
that's not the
watching
real
an
version.
alternate
Well,
version.
that's exactly how I felt about Napoleon.
Yeah, it's
So
same
I'm like,
thing.
well, then why? Because I'd rather see the 4-hour version. That's the actual
Which is going to be on Apple Plus, and I really hate that. It's like Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven. The theatrical version's okay, but the real long version is a masterpiece. It's a totally different movie. It's a totally different experience. Why are you giving us these things? I mean, it's so weird. It's like people who try and they're like, I'm going to make a cult movie. Like, I'm going to make the new Rocky Horror Picture Show. You can't set out to make Rocky Horror Picture Show. It just happens. The audience makes it happen. You can't force this. And I just give me the movie you want, Zach. What do you want to show me?
Yeah, again, I don't think this is a Zack Snyder thing. I think this is a Netflix
I'm
thing.
sure it is.
I think this is a Netflix thing, just, again, trying to pull this cheap gimmick, trying to recreate release the Snyder cut of Rebel, just give us the best movie you can. Look, I'm still looking forward to watching this tomorrow. I still am, but I'm going to be like you. Now I'm going to be sitting there watching, knowing in the back of my head, this isn't really the movie. And so, I don't know.
On one hand, I'm glad to be circumsnidered, but in this case, I do not want to see I want to see the full uncut version.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to see Sophia Botella on screen again. She's been away for a little bit.
Well, listen, I've said from the beginning, one of the things, and of course you got Charlie Hunnam, who's
Charlie
the star
Hunnam,
of
good
one of my
to see
all-time
him
favorite
too.
TV shows. He was Jax in Sons of Anarchy.
Pacific Rim, yeah.
Jaimon Hansu is in there. Great cast. But, with Sophia Botella, she has never been a lead. And and she's first and foremost, she's not an actress. First and foremost, she's a dancer, but she's done a lot of smaller roles, right? Done a lot of smaller roles. I've always liked her obviously she burst onto the scene for all of us in The Kingsman. But she was in a Star Trek movie. I really liked her in that Star Trek movie, right?
Jayla.
So I've been really interested to see. Oh, and she was great in Atomic
She
Blonde.
was in Star Trek.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Painted white. And by the way, if it's
Yeah.
hard R and you got Sophia Boutella, come on. Why
I
do I
mean,
have to wait?
Listen, I'm sorry, but if you want porn, you can just hop on the internet. But one of the sexiest scenes I've ever seen in a movie was Charlize Theron and Sophia Boutella in Atomic Blonde.
Yeah.
That is, and it's not even real explicit. It's just steamy. They did such a good job. So I've
Add
been
that
very.
to my queue.
That's why I've been really interested.
What's your password again, John? I have to add it on your queue.
Why is this movie? Why is this movie pinned on the app? It's just pinned.
I've been really interested to see how will Sophia Boutella do as a lead. Can she carry a
Yeah.
film? And it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Dude, you made me watch. I didn't know she had dance videos on the internet.
How good is she?
Dude.
She's
How
great.
good is
Dude,
she?
I mean, you know, she not since Rosie Perez in the opening of Do the Right Thing have I been so mesmerized by a woman dancing.
She's incredible. She's like
Incredible.
like sometimes you get a famous actor who's good at something and you can exaggerate how good they are. She is a world-class dancer.
Dude, unbelievable.
So good. All right.
Dude.
That down. I got a lot of people in the live chat saying, now I got to go watch Atomic Blonde. It's a good little
watching it.
movie. You should see it.
It is good.
All right.
Great score, too. Great soundtrack.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.